Hi students, my name is Nandini. I am your English teacher. Students of class 11, in this session, what are the chapters we are going to see? And reading skills and writing skills we shall go through at a glance. Then a part of the portrait of a lady I am going to teach. First, contents we shall see. Reading skills and writing skills, whatever we had done in our 10th standard, same, but slightly advanced because now you are all in 11th standard and English is a mark scoring subject. We shall see slightly advanced. Chapter number 1, The Portrait of a Lady, written by Kushwant Singh. You will enjoy a lot. You will remember your grandmother when you are reading this lesson. Then a photograph written by Shirley Tolson. Then chapter 2, we are not afraid to die if we can all be together. Written by Gordon Cook and Alan East. And chapter 3, Discovering Tut, the saga continues, written by A.R. Williams. The Laburnum Top, written by Ted Hughes. Chapter 4, Landscape of the Soul, written by Nathaniel Chaurai. The Voice of the Rain, written by Walt Whitman. Chapter 5, The Ailing Planet, The Green Movement's Role, written by Nani Palkiwala. Chapter 6, The Browning Version, written by Terence Rattigan. Childhood, Marcus Nathan. Chapter 7, The Adventure, written by Jayan Narlikar. Chapter 8, Silk Road, written by Nick Middleton. A Father to Your Son, written by Elizabeth Jennings. And writing skills similar to 10th standard, note making, summarizing, subtitling, essay writing, letter writing, creative writing, everything similar to 10th standard only. Creative writing, you need to be more innovative in 11th and 12th standard. We shall practice more. Every day we should read English newspapers, Times of India, The Hindu. Yes, so that one day you can be, yeah, that is, you can write Harry Potter like stories, right? So these are the chapters we are going to see in this session. Now I'm going to teach the first chapter, The Portrait of a Lady. Before that, shall we do one activity? Yes, we all love our grandmother, right? They may be strict towards our father or mother, but they always love their grandchildren. Yes, always kind. Today's activity, I want you to write a short paragraph about your grandmom. Yes, you need to write it and you need to post that in our group so that I will check that. The Portrait of a Lady, a photograph. Okay. The Portrait of a Lady, written by Kushwant Singh. In this lesson, you can see a bonding between the grandson and grandmother. First, I shall read the paragraph, then I will explain you everything. Right? You please underline, if you have book, you please underline the difficult words along with the meanings. Later I will explain each and every word. Meaning also I will explain. Let me read first. My grandmother, like everybody's grandmother, was an old woman. She had been old and wrinkled for the 20 years that I had known her. People said that she had once been young and pretty and had even had a husband, but that was hard to believe. My grandfather's portrait hung above the mantelpiece in the drawing room. He wore a big turban and loose fitting clothes. His long white beard covered the best part of his chest, and he looked at least 100 years old. He did not look the sort of person who would have a wife or children. He looked as if he could only have lots and lots of grandchildren. As for my grandmother being young and pretty, the thought was almost revolting. She often told us of the game she used to play as a child that seemed quite absurd and undignified on her part, and we treated it like the fables of the prophet she used to tell us. That is, no one believed. First, we will see the meaning, the explanation of this paragraph. What do you mean by the thought was almost revolting? Yes, my grandmother, like everybody's grandmother, was an old woman. Yes, wrinkles, feeble hands, old woman. Author is accepting. For 20 years, for the past 20 years, author is saying she looks old. People said that she had once been very young and pretty. That is, neighbors they used to tell, right? Your grandma, when she was young, how pretty she was, right? But that was hard to believe. The author, Kushwant Singh, was not ready to believe because he always sees his grandmother old. My grandfather's portrait hung above the mantelpiece in the drawing room. So he saw his grandfather's portrait, long beard, best part of the chest it was covering. That is, seeing the portrait, what the author was understanding, he may be having more grandchildren, but not wife, right? He looked as if he could only have lots and lots of grandchildren. And even this, he can't accept that grandmother was young and pretty. He was not ready to accept. She often told us of the game she used to play as a child. But even he was thinking that, no, she was telling some stories. So, from the first paragraph, we can understand grandmother when she was young, she was very pretty and she used to play games. But author, he was not trusting that. Okay. Now, shall we go through the second paragraph? She had always been short and fat and slightly bent. Her face was crisscross of wrinkles running from everywhere to everywhere. No, we were certain she had always been as we had known her. Old, so terribly old that she could not have grown older and had stayed at the same age for 20 years. She could never have been pretty, but she was always beautiful. She hobbled about the house in spotless white with one hand resting on her waist to balance her stool and the other telling the beads of her rosary. Her silver locks were scattered untidily over her pale, puckered face, and her lips constantly moved in inaudible prayers. Yes, she was beautiful. She was like the winter landscape in the mountains, an expanse of pure white serenity, breathing peace and contentment. Students, as an introduction part, today read first and second paragraph. And today's activity, you please write about your grandmother. Tomorrow we shall see the full explanation of this lesson. Right? This is Nandini. Please give me your feedback. If you want me to explain in Hindi also, please let me know. Because while learning English, if you learn through English, then your spoken English and your creative English will improve. No, ma'am, you please explain in Hindi also. Please let me know. I will explain in Hindi. As I'm from Chennai, my Hindi will be South Indian accent and you need to adjust. Thank you, students. Thank you for your cooperation.